Okay. I'm a member of this team, this international team with FAA and Eurocontrol for about 2 years now. It started in June of 2003. And I'm just going to give a little background on how this team was formed and what we're doing. Then I'll give it over to SIP for the main briefing. Okay. The FAA Eurocontrol Research Development Committee, it was formed to work on defining priorities that were common between the two organizations. And to do this, they identified areas of mutual interest where the FAA and Eurocontrol can work together in cooperative R&D. Their approach was to identify these activities with action plans, essentially teams that worked on these action plans. And they have several, some on surveillance, communications, the flight object, several of these. And the one that I work on, and which we're hosting at TIM this week, and that's how we got here to do the speaker series, is on common trajectory prediction capabilities, known as Action Plan 16. The members of the team are varying. You can see several Eurocontrol, NASA Ames folks, some people from industry. And we also, these are the members of the core team that I listed here, and I'm not going to go through all the names, but, and some I can't pronounce too well. But sometimes we have people participating just for short periods of time from industry, for example, Boeing and other organizations. The two key people, though, I must mention are SIP on the Eurocontrol side, is kind of the lead on that side of the ocean, and Steve Green on this side from NASA Ames, who's sitting right there. So what is this all about? Well, trajectory prediction is a common element in a lot of our decision support tools and flight data processing tools. But the challenge is we have a wide range of TP users and applications. And to do collaboration is hard in itself in any type of R&D, let alone developing common capabilities. So the objective was to organize and leverage and conduct complementary trajectory prediction R&D. And the goal was to reduce costs and time to deploy, increase interoperability, improve quality and validation in TP performance. This sounds great, but we'll get into how we're approaching it. So who are the stakeholders? The sponsors, the government agencies, the air traffic service providers, the performers, the research labs, the centers, the customers are the ATM community. So what is our approach? Well, we wanted to define a minimum set of collaborative activities that we could work on that would facilitate TP development, harmonization, and improve performance and interoperability that creates cross-comparable data between TP services. To do this, we wanted to start small on a small set of activities, build success, and increase our activities. In the next slide, I'll list what we came up with and where we are. So we came up with a 9-point plan, 9 activities that are of mutual interest to both sides of the ocean. The ones, I'm not going to go through these all in detail because SIP and Carlos and Eric will go into more in the later presentations, but I'll just highlight the ones in red. And several of these activities are pretty much finished, and some are actively being worked on, and some haven't really gotten too started yet. We're just at the beginnings of some of them. So on common terminology, if you don't define common terminology, as a matter of fact, some of the early meetings we were spent talking about terms and really going back and forth, and it turns out people have different definitions for the same terms. So that was a major part of our activity. One of the outcomes of that was a really nice thing where we defined a common TP structure. And as a matter of fact, have some requests from the FAA right now to put it into a white paper, which we just delivered yesterday. Evaluation of aircraft performance model approaches. This is something that some other members of the team will present in more detail later. And an area that I'm working on right now is a comprehensive TP validation data set. So we're developing a large data set of truth data, essentially, of how aircraft move that we would provide to people to be able to feed their TP and be able to validate it. And by leveraging from the different organizations, we feel that we can get farther than anybody has gone individually. And I believe I'm going to hand it over to SIP now.